Caitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're gonna continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5. Does anyone remember what we read yesterday? Just few points.
Hare Krishna. So we heard about Yudhishthira was hearing from Devrishi Narad Muni, and that it's very important to hear from the authority. The devotee understands the mood of a devotee and the position of the Lord, and so we must hear from the authority. And Devrishi Narad Muni is a pure devotee, a pure Vaishnava. So he was able to understand what Yudhishthira wanted to know. Yudhishthira was wondering about how one parent only chastises children to keep them from mischief, but not torment them. And he wondered why Hiranyakashipu was tormenting a child so violently, and that too Prahlāda Maharaj, who was so obedient, respecting, and noble son. So, and we also heard about we are always trying to make ourselves comfortable in the material world, but we must actually be in the spiritual world. We must always be in devotional service, and we should be the servant of the Supreme Lord. We also heard about Prahlāda Maharaj, how he although the father was a demon, he was a Mahabhagavat, and he had divine qualities. He showed ecstatic symptoms, like he was in the mood of like a child to a mother, and even people who associated with him, they also got the inspiration from him for spiritual life, and they also got purified from all the contamination. So in association of devotees, one is able to serve Krishna. The importance of Shravanam and Kirtanam was also given by Prahlāda Maharaj to all the associates and classmates who he was with. And we also heard about, in spite of, how he was tormented by his own father, who tried to kill him in 100 different ways. Even in spite of that, even in spite being in this material condition, he was undisturbed, because he was always in bhakti. He was always in spiritual association. He never felt the injustice to him. He was fearless, as he was under the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, and he was in association with the pure devotee. He was always in the spiritual life. And yeah, this is what we heard about. And then we heard about the priest of atheist, Shukracharya, who shouldn't have been the priest of an atheist. He actually didn't care how the money came, and he was teaching the demons. And he had two sons, Shanda and Amarka, to whom Prahlāda Maharaj was entrusted for education. So yeah, we heard about Shukracharya too. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, we heard that he's going to school, and then now Hiranyakashipu is asking him, okay, tell me, what did you hear in the school?
Yes.
Right? This is the part we are like, what did you
Yeah,
hear?
we have started. Yeah, yeah.
So Prahlāda Maharaj is now saying, what I've heard. Now he's speaking what he heard actually from Narad Muni, not from Shanda Marka.
Yep.
So Shri Prahlāda Vacha.
Shri Prahlāda Uvacha.
Tatsādu manye suravarya dehinam
Tatsādu manye suravarya devinam
sada samudvigna dhyam asatgrahat.
sada samudvigna dhiyam asadgraha
Hitvatmapatam graham andakupam
hitvatma patam graham andakupam
vanam gato yadharim ashrayeta.
vanam gato yadarim ashrayeta.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prahlāda Maharaj replied, O best of the asuras, king of the demons, as far as I have learned from my spiritual master, any person who has accepted a temporary body and temporary household life is certainly embarrassed by anxiety because of having fallen in a dark well where there is no water but only suffering. One should give up this position and go to the forest. One. More clearly, one should go to Vrindavan, where only Krishna consciousness is prevalent, and should thus take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hiranyakashipu thought that Prahlāda, being nothing but a small boy with no actual experience, might reply with something pleasing, but nothing practical. Prahlāda Maharaj, however, being an exalted devotee, had acquired all the qualities of education. Hiranyakashipu just thought, Prahlad's a small boy. I'm just asking him what you learned in school. He'll just say something. But Prahlad Maharaj, he's a Mahabhagavat. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarver gunes tatra samaste sura arav abhaktasya kuto mahadguna mano rathena asti dhavato vahi. One who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna consistently manifests all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods. However, he who has no devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no good qualifications because he's engaged by mental concoction in material existence, which is the external feature of the Lord. Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18, Text 12. So Bhagavatam is saying that, one who is a pure devotee, he has all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods. He has all the divine qualities. And one who has no devotee, one who's not a devotee, then he may be, however materially qualified he may be, he has no good qualifications because he's on the material platform. So here, Prahlāda Maharaj, he is a pure devotee of the Lord, a great devotee. So so-called as educated philosophers and scientists who are simply on the mental platform cannot distinguish between what is actually Sat, eternal, and what is Asat, temporary. That's what the modern civilization is all about. More and more. Already we are, uh, so misguided, thinking we are the body. And then the way the current society is structured, it's more putting us in this temporary asat. Yeah? The Vedic injunction is asato ma jyotirgama. Everyone should give up the platform of temporary existence and approach the eternal platform. The soul is eternal, and topics concerning the eternal soul are actually knowledge. So knowledge, there's so much knowledge. There's so much more knowledge now than before. But what is real knowledge? To understand we are not the body, we are the soul. And then, so if we are the soul, then what is the activity of the soul? Where is the soul coming from? Where is the soul going? So topics concerning the soul are actually knowledge. Elsewhere it is said, apashyatam atma tattvam griheshu grahamedinam, those who are attached to the bodily conception of life and who thus stick to life as a grahast or householder on the platform of material sense enjoyment cannot see the welfare of the eternal soul. So practically all of us are like that. Yeah. Prahlāda Maharaj confirmed this by saying that if one wants success in life, he should immediately understand from the right sources what his self-interest is and how he should mold his life in spiritual consciousness. One should understand himself to be part and parcel of Krishna and thus completely take shelter of his lotus feet for guaranteed spiritual success. So we need to hear from the authority who knows about the soul, who knows the science of the soul, and then understand that we are part and parcel of Krishna and that we need to develop our Krishna consciousness. Everyone in the material world is in the bodily conception, struggling hard for existence, life after life. Prahlāda Maharaj therefore recommended that to stop this material condition of repeated birth and death, one should go to the forest, Vana. So Prahlāda Maharaj is saying, that we are all struggling. It's true. We are all thinking we are the body. We are acting on the platform of the body. And that's why there is struggle. Karshati, Krishna says, the struggle is called Karshati. Because we are thinking what we are not. We are thinking we are the body. Actually, we are the soul. So going to the Vana, that's what Prahlāda Maharaj is recommending. But in Kali Yuga now, it's difficult for us to go to the forest, live in the forest. So Prabhupada would advise that, well, that's what Lord Chaitanya said, we stay where we are, we hear and chant about Krishna. And as far as possible, we give this knowledge about Krishna to others. And take up spiritual life wherever we are situated. And take up hearing and chanting. And give the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam to others. In the Varna Sharma system, one first becomes a brahmachari, and then a grahast, a vanaprasth, and finally a sannyasi. Going to the forest means accepting vanaprasth life, which is between grahast life and sannyas. So Vedic system was like that. Brahmana, then, a brahmachari, then get married, grahast, then retired life, vanaprasth. From 50 to 75 is vanaprasth. That means person goes to the forest, he's retired, given up the material activities to cultivate spiritual life. And at end of life, accepting sannyas. As confirmed in the Vishnu Puran 389, Varna Shrama Charavata Purushena Parapuman Vishnur Aradhayate. By accepting the institution of Varna and Ashram, one can very easily elevate himself to the platform of worshipping Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, if one remains in the bodily conception, one must rot within this material world and his life will be a failure. So Prabhupada here is quoting Vishnu Puran. Vishnu Puran is saying that we need to follow Varna Sharma because Varna Sharma is a stepping stone to spiritual life. It's a stepping stone. It was so designed by Krishna himself so people could be peaceful in this life. At the same time, cultivate spiritual knowledge. Then at the end of life, go back home, back to Godhead. But now we don't have this kind of structure. So one may say, oh, then what can I do? Well, that's why Lord Chaitanya says, wherever we are, we just stay in that position. We begin hearing and chanting, hearing from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So otherwise, society must have divisions of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, and for spiritual advancement, one must gradually develop as a brahmachari, grihast, vanaprasth, and sannyasi. Prahlāda Maharaj recommended that his father accept Vanaprastha life because as a grahast, he was becoming increasingly demoniac due to bodily attachment. Prahlāda recommended to his father that accepting Vanaprastha life would be better than going deeper and deeper into Graham Andhakupam, the blind well of life as a grahast. So Prahlāda is telling Hiranyakashipu, you should retire now. You're becoming too demoniac. You've conquered the entire universe and you're still not satisfied. So it's better you retire to cultivate spiritual knowledge. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we therefore invite all the elderly persons of the world to come to Vrindavan and stay there in retired life, making advancement in spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. So here's an invitation by Srila Prabhupada saying, come and live in Vrindavan, Mayapur Dham, associate with the devotees there, cultivate spiritual life. Shri Narada Vachan.
Shri Narada Vachan.
Shrutva putra giro daitya.
Shrutva putra giro daitya.
Parapaksha samahita.
Parapaksha samahita.
Jahasa buddhir balanam.
Jahasa buddhir balanam.
Vidyate para buddhibhi.
Vidyate para buddhibhi.
Narad Muni continued when Prahlāda Maharaj spoke about the path of self-realization in devotional service, thus being faithful to the camp of his father's enemies. Hiranyakashipu, the king of the demons, heard Prahlāda's words and he laughingly said, thus is the intelligence of children spoiled by the words of the enemy? Hiranyakashipu, being a demon, would always consider Lord Vishnu and his devotees to be his enemies. Therefore, the word parapaksh, on the side of the enemy, is used here. Hiranyakashipu never agreed with the words of Vishnu or Krishna. Rather, he was angered by the intelligence of a Vaishnava. Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityagya mam ekam sharanam raja. Give up all other duties and surrender unto me. But demons like Hiranyakashipu never agree to do this. So Hiranyakashipu is saying, oh, you are listening to the enemy? Vishnu is my enemy? That's why he's a demon. Therefore Krishna says, Namam duskritino muda prapadyante naradama maya yapahrata jnana asuram bhavam ashrita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Bhagavad Gita 7.15. The Asur Bhav, the atheistic nature, is directly represented by Hiranyakashipu. Such persons being Muda and Naradham, fools and rascals, the lowest of men, would never accept Vishnu as the supreme and surrender unto him. So Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita, that 4 types of men never surrender unto me. What is the instruction of Bhagavad Gita? Krishna is saying, you surrender unto me. Give up all varieties of religion, just surrender unto me. I shall take care of you, because Krishna, he's saying that you're my part and parcel, mamavam sajiva loke. You're eternally my part and parcel, so come back to me, surrender to me. But then there are 4 types of personalities who don't surrender, Krishna is saying. So Hiranyakashipu naturally became increasingly angry that his son Prahlāda was being influenced by the camp of the enemies. He therefore asked that saintly persons like Narad not be allowed within the residential quarters of his son, for otherwise Prahlāda would be further spoiled by Vaishnava instructions. So no more associating with Narad Muni now. Samyak vidharyatam balo.
Samyak vidharyatam bhalo.
Guru gehe dvijati be.
Guru Vijatibihi.
Vishnu pakshe pratichanne.
Vishnu pakshe pratichaner.
na bidyetasya dhir yatha.
Na bhuvitaityasya yatha.
Hiranyakashipu advised his assistants, my dear demons, give complete protection to this boy at the Gurukul, where he is instructed, so that his intelligence will not be further influenced by Vaishnavas, who may go there in disguise. In our Krishna consciousness movement, the tactic of dressing oneself like an ordinary karmi is necessary, because everyone in the demoniac kingdom is against the Vaishnava teachings. Krishna consciousness is not at all to the liking of the demons of the present age. As soon as they see a Vaishnava dressed in saffron garments with beads on his neck and tilak on his forehead, they are immediately irritated. They criticize the Vaishnavas by sarcastically saying Hare Krishna, and some people also chant Hare Krishna sincerely. In either case, since Hare Krishna is absolute, whether one chants it jokingly or sincerely, it will have its effect. The Vaishnavas are pleased when the demons chant Hare Krishna, because this shows that the Hare Krishna movement is taking ground. The greater demons like Hiranyakashipu are always prepared to chastise the Vaishnavas, and they try to make arrangements so that Vaishnavas will not come to sell their books and preach Krishna consciousness. Thus, what was done by Hiranyakashipu long, long ago is still being done. That is the way of materialistic life. So Hiranyakashipu tells the teachers, don't let the devotees come near Prahlāda. Prabhupada is explaining that sometimes that's what happens here too. So people don't want to associate with the devotees. So demons or materialists do not at all like the advancement of Krishna consciousness, and they try to hinder it in many ways. But now it's more favorable. Now more and more people are being attracted. Before, when Prabhupada started the movement, it was very difficult for him. But now we can see that people are much more favorable. So many more people are joining. Yet the preachers of Krishna consciousness must go forward in their Vaishnava dress or any other dress for the purpose of preaching. Chanakya Pandit says that if an honest person deals with a great cheater, it is necessary for him to become a cheater also, not for the purpose of cheating, but to make his preaching successful. So Prabhupada is saying, if you need to change your dress, go in ordinary clothes. Do it for the sake of preaching, for the sake of bringing everyone back to Krishna, giving Krishna consciousness to everyone. Did you have any questions or comments?
No, all good. And it's true, like you said, now it's more, now the world is more accepting. So even if they dress up in saffron dress and then they wear their tilak, they still respect them. I personally feel like that. I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
I felt that way even in Mumbai. And I think here, in fact, it's much more. So,
yeah, that's
yeah.
true. That's true. Because people can see that how the devotees are really, doing good welfare for everyone.
Yeah, yeah. And
They
they
see their
carry,
spirituality. They can
yes,
feel.
yes. Yeah, because so much is happening now everywhere. So when these people they walk around, you really feel different vibration, and they really want that around them. Probably, I feel that way. So you feel
Yeah,
so calm, and you can feel that energy. You can feel that calmness around them. So I think probably that is also one reason they are more accepting to them.
yeah, true.
Mm.
It's true. Griham anitam ahuya
Graham anitam ahuya
prahaladam daitya yajakam
praradam daitya ayajakaha
prashasya shlakshnaya vacha.
prashasya shlakshnaya vacha
Oh, sorry. Samaprachanta samabhi.
Samaprachanta samabhi.
When Hiranyakashipu's servants brought the boy Prahlāda back to the Gurukul, the place where the Brahmanas taught the boys, priests of the demons, Shanda and Amarka, pacified him. With very mild voices and affectionate words, they inquired from him as follows. So they have their Gurukul also, the demons. Shanda and Amarka, the priests of the demons, were eager to know from Prahlāda Maharaj who the Vaishnavas were that came to instruct him in Krishna consciousness. Their purpose was to discover the names of these Vaishnavas. In the beginning, they did not threaten the boy, because when threatened, he might not identify the real culprits. Therefore, they very mildly and peacefully inquired as follows. So they want to know now. So
Hare
they're
Krishna.
talking sweetly to Prahlāda.
Oh, I think your voice broke.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we read Shanda and Amarka, the priest of demons. And then we didn't hear.
Shanda and Amarka. Okay, so they're speaking very sweetly to the boy now because they want to know who has he associated with, who gave him these teachings. They're not shouting at him or anything because they want to know, oh, how did he come to know this knowledge? Who is he associating with? Vatsa Prahlāda Bhadram Te.
Vatsa Prahlāda Bhadram Te.
Satyam Kathaya Mamrisha.
Satyam Kathaya Mamrisha.
Balan Ati Kutastubhyam.
Balan Ati Kutastubhyam.
Isha Buddhi Viparyaya.
Esha Buddhi Viparyaya.
Dear son Prahlāda, all peace and good fortune unto you. Kindly do not speak lies, just reply with the truth. These boys you see are not like you, for they do not speak in a deviant way. How have you learned these instructions? How has your intelligence been spoiled in this way? Prahlāda Maharaj was still a boy, and therefore his teachers thought that if they pacified the little boy, he would immediately speak the truth, revealing the secret of how the Vaishnavas came there to teach him lessons in devotional service. It's surprising, of course, that in the same school, the other boys of the Daityas were not polluted. Only Prahlāda Maharaj was supposedly polluted by the instructions of the Vaishnavas. The main duty of the teachers was to inquire who those Vaishnavas were that came to teach Prahlāda and spoil his intelligence. So they are like, you're not like the other boys. The other boys are not speaking like you. Only you are speaking. How come? What happened? Buddhi Bheda Parakrita.
Buddhi Bheda Parakrita.
Utaho te svato bhavat.
Utaho te svato bhavat.
Bhanyatam shrotu kamanam.
Bhanyatam shrotu kamanam.
Gurunam kulanandana.
Gurunam kulanandanam.
O best of your family, has this pollution of your intelligence been brought about by you or the enemies? We are all your teachers and are very eager to hear about this. Please tell us the truth. Prahlāda Maharaj's teachers were astonished that a small boy could speak such exalted Vaishnava philosophy. Therefore, they inquired about the Vaishnavas, who steadily taught it to him, in order that these Vaishnavas might be arrested and killed in the presence of Prahlāda's father, Hiranyakashipu. Because Prahlāda is speaking about devotional service. And so they're like, wow, how did you learn that? You're such a little kid. Shri Prahlāda Vachan.
Shri Prahlāda Vachan.
Para swashcheti asadgraha.
Parah swasacheti asadgraha.
Pumsam yanmaya krita.
Samyanmayaya kritaha
vimohita dhiyam drishtas
Rohita dhyam drishtas
Drishta
tasmai bhagavate namaha.
Tasmai Bhagavate Namaha.
Namaha.
Prahlāda Maharaj replied, "Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose external energy has created the distinctions of my friend and my enemy by deluding the intelligence of men. Indeed, I am now actually experiencing this, although I have previously heard of it from authoritative sources." As stated in Bhagavad Gita 5.18, Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gavihastini Shunicheva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshina, the humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater outcast. Pandita, those who are actually learned, the equipoised, advanced devotees, who have full knowledge of everything, do not see any living entity as an enemy or friend. Instead, with broader vision, they see that everyone is part of Krishna, as confirmed by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Jivera Swarupai Krishnera Nityadas. So here Prabhupada begins the purport by quoting Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, text 18, that one who is actually learned, one who is really has knowledge, sees everyone equally. How? Because he understands that everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. So he's not seeing a cow, elephant, dog, gentle Brahmana. He's seeing every living entity as part and parcel of Krishna. Of course, he deals with every living entity in a different way, but he respects everyone. He sees everyone with this as the same. Lord Chaitanya is saying, what is the Swarup? What is the Swarup of every Jiva? And what is the Swarup? Krishna Nityadas. That every living entity is eternal servant of Krishna. Every living entity being a part of the Supreme Lord is meant to serve the Lord, just as every part of the body is meant to serve the whole body. You know, the hands, the legs, the eyes, they are working in cooperation for the body. So we are meant to serve in cooperation. We are part of the Supreme Lord. How in a machine, every part works in cooperation to let the full machine going to run. As servants of the Supreme Lord, all living entities are one, but a Vaishnava, because of his natural humility, addresses every other living entity as Prabhu. A Vaishnava sees other servants to be so advanced that he has so much to learn from them. So we are all part and parcel of Krishna, but a Vaishnava, he sees himself as the lowest. He sees everyone else better than him. So he's very humble. A Vaishnava sees other servants to be so advanced that he has so much to learn from them. Thus he accepts all other devotees of the Lord as Prabhu's masters. Although everyone is a servant of the Lord, one Vaishnava servant, because of humility, sees another servant as his master. Understanding of the master begins from understanding of the spiritual master. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya prasadat nagati kutopi. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one receives the benediction of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. So, the Guru Vashtakam, we sing this every morning, that by the mercy of the spiritual master, we can get the mercy of Krishna. By pleasing the spiritual master, we can please Krishna. By serving the spiritual master, we can serve Krishna. We can't approach Krishna directly. It's through the bona fide spiritual master. Sakshat Dharitvena Samastra Sashtra Uktas Tatha Bhavayata Eva Sadbi Kinto Prabho Ya Priya Eva Tasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. The spiritual master is to be honored as much as the Supreme Lord. Why? Because he's the most confidential servitor of the Lord. This is acknowledged in all revealed scriptures and followed by all authorities. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru. That one who has firm faith in both the spiritual master and God, in Krishna, to him all the knowledge of the Vedas is revealed to him. So therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Sri Hari Krishna. So a bona fide representative, one who is authorized by Krishna. The spiritual master, the servant of God, is engaged in the most confidential service of the Lord, namely delivering all the conditioned souls from the clutches of Maya, in which one thinks this person is my enemy and that one is my friend. So the spiritual master, he is appointed by Krishna to do this confidential work. What is the confidential work? To bring all of us back home, back to Godhead, to give us the spiritual knowledge, to help us understand the truth. We are thinking we are the body. We are thinking this material world is our permanent home. But the spiritual master comes to tell us about our true constitutional position, that we are part and parcel of Krishna, engages us in devotional service to bring us back home, back to Godhead. Actually, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the friend of all living entities, and all living entities are eternal servants of the Supreme Lord. Oneness is possible through this understanding, not through artificially thinking that every one of us is God or equal to God. So how can we actually be equal to everyone if we can understand that each and every one of us is part and parcel of Krishna? Each and every one of us is a servant of God. Then we can actually be equal. True understanding is that God is the Supreme Master and all of us, and that all of us are servants of the Supreme Lord and are therefore on the same platform. Each and every one of us, no matter which body we are in, we are all part and parcel of God. We are all servants of God. There's only one God. There is no one equal to or greater than him. This had already been taught to Prahlāda Mahārāja by spiritual master Narad, but Prahlāda was nonetheless surprised by how a bewildered soul thinks one person his enemy and another his friend. So the pure devotee, the Vaishnava, sees everyone equally. He does not see that this is my enemy or this is my friend. He's seeing everyone as part and parcel of God. That's why he's not envious of anyone. Not envious. That's a Vaishnava is non-envious. He loves everyone. He sees everyone as part of Krishna, as eternal servant of Krishna. As long as one adheres to the philosophy of duality, thinking one person a friend and another an enemy, he should be understood to be in the clutches of Maya. The Mayavadi philosopher who thinks that all living entities are God and are therefore one is also mistaken. No one is equal to God. The servant cannot be equal to the master. So there is only one God. No one is equal to him. No one is greater than him. There's only one God, and we, the living entities, are all servants of God. According to the Vaishnava philosophy, the master is one and the servants are also one. But the distinction between the master and servant must continue, even in the liberated stage. So we are all spirit souls, part and parcel of Krishna. Even when the soul goes back to the spiritual world, the service attitude continues. Not that after liberation one becomes God. No. The soul continues the service to God, and that is the Sanatan Dharma, the eternal activity of the soul, bhakti, devotional service. In the conditioned stage, we think that some living beings are our friends, whereas others are enemies. And thus we are in duality. In the liberated stage, however, the conception is that God is the master and that all living entities, being servants of God, are one. So here now we think, because we think we are separate from God, we think this is my friend, this is my enemy, I'm going to behave in this way with someone and I'll behave in another way with someone. In the sense, I'll be envious to another and I'll be non-envious to another. But what is the liberated platform? Vaishnava understands that God is the supreme. He is the supreme master. And each and every one of us, we are all servants of God. We are all part and parcel of God. And in that sense, we are all equal. Because we are all part and parcel of God. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll stop here for today.
Yes.
Okay. Prahlāda Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
The Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare
Jai.
Krishna. Thank you so much.